Good morning, Jefferson College graduating class of 2018. How are you guys doing today? You guys look fabulous in your caps and gowns. Stand up. So we can all get a good look at you. Don't they look fabulous here? You guys really clean up nice. Since you're standing, why don't you all turn around and look at the crowd that's gathered here today? What do you see? What you see, your parents, mother, father, brother, sister, aunts, uncles, grandparents, friends. All people who loved and supported you to get to your journey right here. I think they deserve a round of applause, don't you? Now, before I begin, I need to take care of one little piece of business. I promised I'd do this. May I have a close-up, please? Hi, Vicki. Wish you were here. Okay. The late author Henry Miller wrote, "One's destination is never a place, but a new way of seeing things." Where is one's destination? Where's mine? Where's yours? One destination you guys have is your chairs. Please sit. The answer to these questions is really simple. It's not a discussion needed to be had by great minds, great philosophers, great theologians. It doesn't even require a great amount of pontification. The answer is simply here and now. Like Dr. Comiskey said, my name is Rudy Yannuck. I'm a retired pathologist. For those of you who don't know what a pathologist is, it's laboratory medicine. We diagnose malignancies, tumors. We also do autopsies, but that's a small part of it, and quite honestly, most of us don't enjoy that aspect. I like to say, we're the doctors that make your doctors look smart, but that's just me. I'm also a U.S. Navy veteran. Thank you. Father of 6, and the 2010 Gateway Area Chapter of the National Multiple Sclerosis Society's Father of the Year. Though my life with multiple sclerosis presents many opportunities to live in the here and now, MS presents its challenges every day. So many people, myself included, focus so much of their time and their energy searching for, agonizing over what their destiny in the future may hold, where they feel they should be in 5, 10, 15 years. They worry about what could be, what should be, might be, hope to be. They forget about what is the now. They forget to love, appreciate, cherish what is right here in front of them, the now. Or worse yet, they forget about the good and only focus on the bad. Friends, I wish I could stand up. Hang on, let me rephrase that. I wish I could stand up. However, I wish I could sit up here and tell you I've always lived in the here and now. But it wouldn't be true. And today, I'd like to share with you a few of those moments. In the spring of my surgery internship at Naval Hospital San Diego in 1994, I felt like I was on top of the world, about to finish the most professionally challenging, physically demanding year of my life, of which over 25 years later, I still am most proud, followed by 3 years of flight surgery, a life I imagine like the characters Maverick and Goose, the cocky, edgy, envelope-pushing fighter pilots from the hit 1980s movie Top Gun. If you're not familiar with it, I suggest you watch it. It's a classic. Followed by orthopedic surgery residency and career as an orthopod. This was my destiny. Life could not get any better. Then it got worse. In April of that year, an ophthalmology exam, eye exam, led to the requesting of a MRI, magnetic resonance imaging study of my brain, scheduled for later in May. The month of May, I was assigned to the pediatric surgery service. Worry about my upcoming MRI blurred my memory of that month. However, one incident does particularly stand out. I had been notified of a little boy, maybe 4 or 5. He was having difficulty breathing due to indigestion, and bloating secondary to his PEG tube, percutaneous endoscopic gastrostomy tube, a feeding tube fed through the skin directly into the stomach, which was placed for a congenital abnormality, something he was born with. That evening, the father called me with complaints of the same. As instructed, I told him to burp the tube and to go to the emergency room if problems continued. I went to bed. Early the next morning, around 3 or 4, father called me back to inform me that his son was dead. I froze in panic. Oh my God, what do I say? What do I do? Medical school only trained me to take care of the living, never once preparing me for this inevitable scenario. Previously, in those kind of situations, I was part of a medical entourage, and we all stood in the background while the more experienced attending physicians handled this kind of stuff. This time, there was no background. There was no medical entourage. There was no attending experienced physician. There was just me talking with an acutely grieving father. I listened, expressed my condolences for his loss, and hung up the phone with the uneasy feeling I had handled it all wrong. 8 months later, with the death of my firstborn daughter, firstborn of twins, I would come to learn that there was nothing I could have said that would have eased this acutely grieving father's pain. Yet having said nothing would have been inexcusable. The morning of Thursday, May 26th, I went to radiology to get my MRI. A cage was placed over my head and face. I imagined I looked like a baseball catcher or a hockey goalie. I lay down on the table. The table slid me into this small, claustrophobic-like tube opening. Suddenly, silence. Then a loud blah, 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 doop, 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 rat-tat-tat-tat-tat. The sound would have been deafening had it not been for the headphones placed over my ears. Then silence. A few moments later, the second cacophonic movement began, much like the first. This went on for the next 2.5 hours. Following afternoon, I called radiology to get my preliminary results. The neuroradiology resident was reluctant to discuss results with me. See, radiologists are only accustomed to speaking with other physicians, not directly to patients. Dilemma, I was both. With a shaky voice, the neuroradiology resident proceeded to read to me word for word what became the final diagnosis. I listened, hung up the phone, and steadily, with throat closing, heart pounding, eyes welling, walked to the nearest bathroom. As soon as the latch of the door closed behind me, I collapsed in the corner to the floor in a massive heap of wails and sobs. I wept like I never wept before. Severe bilateral demyelinization of my periventricular white matter, ultimately resulting in a diagnosis of multiple sclerosis. Just like that, my professional hopes and dreams, my career, my destiny, vanished. The Navy forced me into a career that I never enjoyed, never imagined, and honestly never felt was a real clinical specialty in medicine. And I apologize if there's any of you in the audience. That's just how I felt. Pathology. I did my pathology residency at the University of California, Irvine. Somewhat prestigious institution with a few prestigious names in the field of pathology. I could not see that then. I was too busy mourning the loss of what multiple sclerosis had taken from me. I was too busy being angry about losing the what could have been, what should have been. I was too busy fighting, accepting what was right there in front of me. The now. Anger over my multiple sclerosis prevented me from fully engaging myself in my training, as evidenced by the several attempts it took to pass the pathology specialty boards. Life would have been so much easier had I just embraced the opportunities being given, seeing things in a new way. Following my residency, I did hematopathology fellowship training. Hematopathology, disorders of the blood, bone marrow, and lymph nodes. Lymphoma, leukemia, anemia, thalassemia, basically anything ending in emia. At the Armed Forces Institute of Pathology in Washington, D.C. A very prestigious institution with many prestigious names in the field of pathology. It was during this training I decided to accept my new destiny, embrace my new life, began engaging myself in my training. Interestingly, once I did, I began enjoying myself, finding my job less difficult than it had been previously. I began having fun. Following a 20-year career in medicine, my symptoms of multiple sclerosis progressed to the point where even the low physical demands of pathology were becoming physically taxing. After a 3-year battle to save my job at the VA, I took a forced federal disability retirement. Again, I did not see the opportunities being presented me. Could not see things in a new way. Once I did, realizing the gift that multiple sclerosis had given me. Yes, I said gift. The gift of time. Time to not only work on taking care of my health, but spending time with my kids, watching them grow and flourish into the amazing human beings that they have and are becoming. I was living the dream, folks. The dream that most fathers, heck, most parents only wish that they could dream. Life could not get any better. Then it got worse. Less than a year after my retirement, 9 months to be exact, my wife decided that after 20 years of marriage and 6 children, she never should have married me. Think you could have thought of that sooner? Oh well. So we separated. My dream of growing old together and raising a family with the woman I had married on June 5th, 1993, vanished. I spent 2 years soaking the shoulders of friends, family, and honestly, anyone who would listen with my tears. I finally began to accept my new destiny, accept the loss of my dream. Even though this chapter of my life is not yet finished, I know that when the final punctuation mark is placed, that once again, life is not going to be able to get any better as long as I stay in the here and now. I began dreaming again. You're here witnessing one of those dreams, talking and engaging with people, sharing my story, hearing their stories, hopefully giving some hope and inspiration to those that listen. Class, you are here today because you fulfilled one of your dreams, as evidenced by sitting here in cap and gown. I have some bad news for you. Although I know you have many other dreams, a lot of them aren't going to be fulfilled. But even though life and life circumstances stop your dreams, they can't stop you from dreaming. Again, congratulations, Jefferson College, graduating class of 2018.